Hello, everyone. I thought I would talk to you about how I first came to want to be a writer because you might be surprised. When I was a very young kid, I actually didn't have a lot of interest in being a writer or even reading for that matter. If you had looked at me when I was 5 or even 10 years old, you would not have said, "Oh, this kid is going to be a writer someday," because again, I didn't really enjoy reading and I didn't write very often. In fact, I hated writing because my handwriting was so terrible. And of course, in the late 90s, early 2000s, or even up through the mid 2000s, it was not common for kids to do their work on laptops or anything like that. Therefore, because my handwriting was not very legible, I was kind of put off to writing. And plus, teachers especially, made fun of my handwriting in school. So therefore, the concept of being a writer never really entered my mind at all. And and I also mentioned as a kid I didn't really have an interest in reading. However, I did have an interest in watching movies based on Gothic tales like Dracula and Frankenstein and Poe and all these other. I enjoyed period and those kinds of tales, and I would watch movie adaptations of those literary works. Of course, as I got older, I finally started to think about, well, where did these movies come from? What inspired them? And that eventually got me into reading when I was around 13, 14. And that's when I really started to want to become a writer. It was at that time. And then, of course, my desire to be a writer grew and grew. And I tried my senior year of high school to get this short story published in a magazine, but nothing came of it. And then, of course, after high school, I desperately tried traditional publishing because I thought that if I could get something published, then maybe I wouldn't have to go to college, which of course didn't work out. And then, of course, when I was in college, I of course, while I would do my schoolwork, I would also write short stories. There was a time where I was writing 3, 4 short stories a week, and that gave me a tremendous amount of practice because I was practicing writing these stories very quickly. And but of course, there was still a part of me that was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life because it seems like if I pursue something that's a bit more practical, that's not going to make me happy, and I'm ultimately going to be very miserable. But at the same time, if I pursue what I love, then that could also result in utter destruction and disaster. So um, I was very conflicted, but finally, and this really wasn't a conscious decision that I made on my part, but finally, I just dropped out of college and decided afterwards that I was going to pursue writing full time. And of course, I was in a situation where I had a family who was tolerant of said decision, and so anyway, and I then ended up writing several novellas after that in the late 2000s, and then I wrote my book Silent Reckoning just recently, and all of these books that I've been writing have been personal explorations, so to speak, exploring my deepest psyche, exploring aspects of my soul, and also trying to observe others at the same time and explore the souls and psyches of others. So it's been in some ways difficult, but also very therapeutic for me at the same time. So that is my journey as a writer thus far.